Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. So I'm going to be doing a tarot reading for the month of December. Usually I attempt to do it week by week, but then I start the reading and I get involved in the reading, and the reading pretty much delineates the whole month. So I'm going to start with a Celtic Cross and see where that takes us. I'm doing this using Zoom because I have better volume with Zoom, and I did a number of tarot scopes, and I know some of them were difficult to hear. It has to do with the microphone on my computer, which isn't the greatest, and I don't really have access to making it louder, so I apologize for those of you who might have missed some of that. Sometimes if you use earbuds, you can hear it, but of course, it would just be easier for you to hear it, I understand. So let's take a look at the month of December. December astrologically is very potent. Of course, we started it with an eclipse. Well, actually, we started it with Neptune moving direct, and then we had the eclipse. This week, we have a couple of pretty powerful aspects today, which is actually Monday the 6th. We have aspects between Pluto and Mars, and that always gets things moving, deep transformational change with those two planets. We do have a Venus retrograde coming up. We have Venus make a conjunction to Pluto, the first of 3. And of course, we have solstice, winter solstice, here in the Northern Hemisphere, the sun moving into Capricorn. Whenever a planet goes over one of the first degree of the cardinal signs, it actually activates the world axis. And usually there's some sort of world event that is expressed through that energy. We have the last of the Saturn-Uranus squares, exact squares, but they do get very close in 2023, although not exact. So that energy, which will come to a head on December 24th, we will be feeling that at least for the first 6 months of the year. And then at the end of the year, Jupiter moves back into Pisces, which we may actually feel a peace come upon us, even if it's just temporary. It's better than the constant traumatic energy that we seem to be constantly being bombarded with. So it's, of course, that those feeling bombarded by those transpersonal planets usually indicates that there is a shift in consciousness happening. And so we sort of have to go along with it, whether we like it or not. So let's see December. We'll start with the Emperor card. The Emperor card speaks of dominion. It is a 4 vibration. 4 is about structure and foundations. It is an Aries vibration, so it has that Aries energy. Chiron is in Aries right now, astrologically. And so we are dealing with both, the benefits and the drawbacks of that Aryan energy. The courage to step out and, go on your own and be willing to step out of the pack, Aries, along with, the other side of Aries, which is kind of my way or the highway, and the sort of warlike qualities that Aries can engender in people. Or you may feel like you're getting attacked. You may just feel like because you don't agree with somebody that they're attacking you. And of course, there's plenty of people attacking people. So it's not like it's a figment of our imagination. But sometimes we make it that when it's not actually that. So the Emperor speaks to us of becoming, having our own dominion, having dominion over our environment. So what challenges that dominion? The Magician. The Magician is our ability to focus our intention, right? So are you having trouble focusing on what it is you really want? Do you really know what you want? Or do you just know what you don't want? I think that's a good question, because many people just know what they don't want, but they don't necessarily have an alternative. And I did have a teacher many years ago say to me about love. Uh, First, you have to see what love is not before you can see what love is. And I don't disagree with that, actually. And so I think there's a little bit of that, not necessarily with love, although it could be with love, but just in general. You know you don't want this, but what exactly do you want? So that could be a challenge with the magician there. There can also be some manipulation there. You can feel like you're being manipulated. Especially with the emperor and challenged by the magician, you may feel like people in authority are manipulating you. So let's see what's underneath it. We have the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords. This is a card of making a decision, cutting a cord, going one direction instead of another. It is a card associated with justice. Personally, this is about the need to make a decision, the need to cut ties, perhaps. Collectively, however, these three cards that come up speak to me of holding people in power accountable for their manipulative actions. So if we look at this reading from a more political perspective, this could be a sense of, this is the time of justice, right? So let's look in the past. So in the past, we have the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is a card that deals with our dreams, our aspirations, what it is that we want to create. Where do we want to go? What do we want our world to look like? How do we want to put ourselves out in the world? This particular vibration, the Two of Wands, is actually also an Aries vibration. And so there is this quest for putting yourself out there, for making your mark, for really a creative, it's creative, but it's creative through your relationship. There's a relationship aspect here. It is a two. Two always brings a relationship. So perhaps in the past you had a dream of what you could create together with somebody else, and a vision of that. So let's see what's in the sky. We have the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Swords. So again, here's another sword. The Queen of Swords is the sustainer of justice, the sustainer of the truth. The Queen of Swords is generally seen as somebody who has good judgment, but can be harsh. Judgment can be harsh. And it's not harsh because this person is particularly mean or mean-spirited. It has more to do with, we have to cut the sentimentality out of this. We have to look at things from a logical and practical perspective. The Queen of Swords, it's not like she doesn't have feelings. It's just that she has felt all the feelings and she doesn't allow her feelings to cloud her judgment. Now, if we're looking at this reading from the perspective of of a political situation, it looks like there is a judgment coming down, perhaps for somebody in power. Let's see the immediate future. We have the Star. So what the Star suggests to us is hope. This is a very positive card to have here. It deals with finding your guiding star. So if you're, so the initial question I asked, do you know what you don't want, but you don't know what you do want? This will be an opportunity. December will be an opportunity for you to do that, to find that. Incidentally, this is the vibration of December 2021. If you check out my numerology and Kabbalah reading, I talk about the star card and the need for us to have a guiding star and also to meditate. So this is a really good month for you to quiet your mind, kind of, there's a certain amount of, I think, a sense that, very often we are concerned with a situation that's out of our control. Say, say as an example, the January 6th commission, and you want to stay up on it. You want to see things happen. You don't want to see it be another Mueller report, whatever it is. You want to see something come of it. And but there's not much you can do about it. You kind of almost have to trust that the people who are in charge of that are going to do their best. And I think in that situation they will, and they are. And it is a different situation from the Mueller situation, because it's not just like a one-sided, trying to catch somebody doing something wrong while the whole gang, even though they see somebody doing something wrong, they're not going to do anything about it. So it's not that situation. So with the star card there, I think you need to focus on what it is that you want to create. What is it that you want to bring to the party? Everybody has their part to play. And I'm a true believer that if you're playing the part that you're meant to play in your life, then things get better for everyone. It's just a natural occurrence when you're doing something that you love. You express that energy outwardly, and it's contagious, just like COVID is contagious. It's all contagious. So these cards really counsel you to find your guiding star, to meditate, to maybe look to the stars, maybe get an astrological reading, or study astrology, or whatever it is that's going to give you a deeper understanding of your place in the world. I think is a good thing to explore in December. How it's seen from the outside, we have the Six of Swords. This is about moving out of troubled water. All the swords are sort of down and not up, and not like swirling around here. And there's a certain amount of leaving the chaos behind, Domestic situation, we have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords in the domestic situation speaks of a need to take an action, but there's an impulsivity here that you need to be aware of. So what I would say is action is important, but impulsive action is not the best way to go. Of course, if you're spending your time, figuring out your place in the world and finding your guiding star, there can be an impulsivity to that, but you want to make sure you get the whole story before you jump into the fray. But I do believe action is necessary on some level in your domestic situation. Okay, hopes and fears. The Six of Wands is the victory card. Of course, we hope for victory. Politically, if we're looking at this Knight of Swords, and then the victory card is the hopes and fears, this is the hero sort of coming in and righting the wrongs and all of that. So we may see some of that as well. And in the outcome, we have the Queen of Cups. We have another queen here, whereas the Queen of Swords is all business. The Queen of Cups is a different kind of business. The Queen of Cups is nurturance. It's sitting down over a cup of tea. It's having your needs met. It's attending to self-care and emotional needs. And so that is the outcome. And then we have the Hermit as we're pulling up for to see if I could get a major arcana here. And so there can be some withdrawal, and that may require you to do just that, withdrawal, in order to do the self-nurturance that's possible. I almost feel as though something is going to happen that gives us some sense of relief, that justice matters, or that, you know, things will change for the better, instead of it always seeming to be one thing after another, making things worse and worse, right? And in that energy, and this can be a personal energy for you, you know, you finally have some sort of victory here, and there's an easing, and there's a sense of oh, now I can sort of sit back and rest and relax to a certain extent, and go inwardly and see what I've learned from these experiences. We have the Nine of Pentacles here underneath it, the Knight of Wands, which is the inspired knight, somebody moving forward on their dreams and aspirations. And we have the Eight of Cups. So this is a little bit of a mixed bag underneath it, but I think what it speaks of is there is a sense of either completion, or there's a sense of there's no point in putting any more energy into a situation. And so that, you know, whichever one you are, okay, underneath it all, I feel like that is the I think the core of this reading is really in the first two cards. If you don't know what you don't want, then what is it that you do want? What is it that you do want? You have to decide on what it is that you want. You have to decide what direction you want to take. There's a certain amount of acceptance that we need to do when it comes to the situations we find ourselves in at this time, because we're going through this transformational period. We don't really know what's on the other side of things, but we also have to have some sort of focus, some sort of goal. But I think we need to have it, we need to hold on to it loosely. We have to have a direction, and then a willingness to see where that direction takes us, as opposed to have a direction, that's where I'm going, that's the only place I'm going, I'm not doing anything else, I want to focus all my energy on that. I think we have to be a little bit more open to the currents that are running through our lives. And ultimately, I think the most important thing is to be doing something that I want to say that you believe in, but I don't really like using the word belief necessarily, because we do have the South Node in Sagittarius. The nodes will be shifting in January. The true nodes on the 18th of January, the mean nodes, which those of you who know astrology know what I'm talking about, at the end of December. So there is a shift, and so it's not really about what you believe, but it is what fulfills you. It is what makes you feel like you're making a difference, whether it's in other people's lives or your life. Are you making the world a better place, or are you just creating more chaos? I think that is the question. And you know, how do you navigate this time? There's a certain amount of having to go with the flow, but also knowing that holding on to things that no longer serve you is not the way forward. The way forward is becoming aware of what is of value to you, and how are you going to navigate your life with that particular thing in mind. And with the nodes changing, a North Node in Taurus, we're going to have a good 18 months of deciding what is essential in our lives. So that is what it looks like as it sits now. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed that reading. Like and subscribe. I will be doing a couple of political readings today as well. I have some questions, but I want to do that separately. Okay, guys, have a great December, and I will see you again shortly to do a few political readings. Much love. Namaste.